Even though the party is playing. Pay for every dance. Selling his romance. Ooh, what they say. But there will come a day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fine edition of the OZone. I am your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother, Terry Miller, also known as the Icons.
Oh yeah, let's go.
This is the most wonderful time of the year.
What about Christmas?
I am so happy that it's October because it's baseball season.
Oh, okay.
This is the real baseball season, ladies and germs.
Where the rubber meets the road.
It sure is, and boy, oh boy, is
and the
it
road
going
meets
down.
the rubber.
Think about this. We have the playoffs are set. Thought we were going to have a one-game playoff or maybe several one-game playoffs, but it worked out so that the wild cards are there. Dub C versus Dub C going straight up and down. We're going to hold off on our baseball action. Want to just recap the NFL real quick about Sunday. Because there's a team up in the Bay that's playing pretty well.
Well, why'd you have to bring that up?
There's a team that's not playing so well in the Bay, and their name is the Niners. But the team that's playing well's name is the Raiders. And everybody knows, except for the Icons, because he doesn't want to admit the truth. Because he can't handle the truth. The truth of the matter is, Jack Del Rio may be the greatest coach of all time.
Okay, Boston Mike.
The truth of the matter is, the Raiders look serious. They have a long way to go, obviously.
I wouldn't say look serious. They look better, but they don't look serious.
I don't know what else can you do. There's just nothing to this guy is like the Trump supporter. It doesn't matter.
Don't say that.
What happens, he is going to bash the Raiders. It doesn't matter. I agree with Donald Trump now that he could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and his ratings would go up. And the same thing goes for the Icons. He just cannot see the fact that at this point today, the Raiders are one of the toughest teams in the league.
The toughest teams? They have some of the worst defense in the league. They went out of their way to try to blow that game.
And what was the end result?
They won.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Okay.
Raiders.
Okay, but at the end of the season, we'll see.
Yeah, at the end of the season, it's Highlander. There can be only one. And that's in every sport. So I don't even want to hear about that. As of right now, the Raiders are sitting just as pretty as anybody in the league.
Live high off the hog, my friend. Live high off the hog.
I'm going to live high on the hog is the phrase, by the way. But
well, I like to live high off the hog.
That's up to you. Then
sometimes the hog gets get you high.
Get your swine on. If your hog does mushrooms, you will live high off the hog. But I tell you, the Raiders, they look good. I was so impressed with the comeback. The defense seemed like they got worn down, which isn't actually anything to be ashamed of in the sense that they were in Baltimore and being in Baltimore against a team that does have a real defense.
They have a real defense.
And has a great coach because them Harbaugh boys, they know how to coach some football. I'll tell you that much. I got a feeling they know how to coach probably a little bit of everything. I saw that special on talking about them playing baseball and everything. They're
serious.
Yeah, they're serious
intense.
Competitors. Yeah, exactly.
Very intense. They don't take it, lightly. Anything.
No. Yeah, exactly.
You saw when they played against each other.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. And so, I feel like I had full confidence. I was watching the game. I was in sunny Las Vegas, and I was watching that game. And when Flacco came down and marched, it looked kind of grim for the Raiders. Crab made that big catch before that, and I was like, wow, the Raiders look like they're making noise. But then the defense let them back in the game. They took the lead 27-21. And if you check my Twitter timeline, you will see that I never got too nervous. I felt like the comeback was in order. And that's exactly what happened. We need a nickname for Derek Carr because he is out there dealing.
Let's call
That's
him
dealing Derek.
Cobra Carr.
Go Cobra Carr. Yes, Sensei. Let's call him Cobra Carr.
Cobra Carr.
Cobra Carr is out there doing it.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that kid's got ice water in his veins. He's not scared at all. I'm seriously impressed.
Let me ask you this. What about Amari Cooper? Are they using him as a decoy pretty much? Because Crab is definitely the primary receiver.
Crab is the man.
Yeah.
And I'm happy because he's on my fantasy team.
The sorry receiver like Crab is showing up.
Ever come at me with a sorry receiver like Crab. In the words of Richard Sherman. That's outstanding. I need that soundbite. But yeah, no, Crab, man, he's out there. Political standings aside, that dude is out there playing football, and he's making veteran catches. You can see it.
Right.
He's running crisp routes.
Right. He beat the defense. I mean, he got over the top, and Derek Carr put it right over his shoulder.
He put it right on the money, and he gave you professional work, dragged his foot, dragged one foot, got the other foot in, dragged the toe. That's professional work. I'm
Poorly
really
played.
impressed.
I think that even the Ravens, didn't expect something like that.
Obviously, they didn't expect it. It was a double move. That was the thing that was crazy about it.
But the safety was over the top already.
See, then he bit the first move. Both the safety and the DB bit the first move because he did that fake out, and then it looked like they were going to try to throw short,
right?
And Cobra Carr was over the top. Mm-hmm. Perfect throw. If you put anything extra on that throw, it's out of bounds. You put anything under it, it might be picked.
Can we move on?
I mean, I don't know. I think I want to stay in Raiderland. I like Oakland at this time of year.
Move on,
it's nice and
it's cold in the Bay.
It is, and it's ice cold in Derek Carr's veins. Is what it is.
The Cobra Carr. He's got venom. He's spitting venom out the arms.
He is. You got Khalil Mack still out there doing his thing.
He's not. Great.
He does. And you know what I really appreciated from Jack Del Rio coming out and saying, you know what, his numbers may not be through the roof right now like they were last year, but now basically teams have made adjustments. They can emphasize on making sure he doesn't beat them, but he's still a presence. He requires so much attention. That kid. Right. He's a really good athlete. Really, really good athlete. I can't say enough because honestly, the Ravens have been playing better than I expected them to all year.
Except for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco looks terrible,
which is amazing,
right?
Because Joe Flacco is one of the most underrated quarterbacks of the last 5 years, in my opinion.
He throws a deep ball.
That's what he can do is go long.
But he looks like that's all he's looking for now. He's like that power puncher that's looking for that knockout.
That's it. He needs to focus on the short game. I tell you what, when they became successful. Because they got dominated in the first half. When they became successful is when they came out, and this is a testament to Harbaugh, they came out and committed to the run in the second half.
Right.
And the Raiders didn't know what to do. They committed to that run, which opened up the pass. Steve Smith still got some in the tank. Steve Smith Sr. Wow, he burned them.
Wow.
That was an exciting game to watch.
It was all really, the way down to the last play.
Yeah, really, really good game to watch. So really happy about the Raiders situation. Matter of fact, I'm a naive fan right now. I'm so caught up in the web of baseball. I don't even know who the Raiders play next week. But I need to look into that.
Yeah, we have to look that up.
But moving on. I mean, how about that Monday night game with the Vikings?
Wow.
The Vikings are
real.
What's called the truth.
Yeah, real. They say Seattle has the number one defense, but I would go with the Vikings
over the Broncos as well.
Yeah, because they're shutting teams down.
I mean,
they shut Carolina down. They're really, really physical. I'd sort of, I know that Denver doesn't like to be known as a dirty team, but they play a little dirty.
They smack you,
not
just in the mouth. Right. They smack you helmet to helmet.
Right, and I don't see
they
that
take guys low. I don't see it. I just see good strategy, and good execution with like superior athletes.
Right, and disciplined play.
I think it really. They seem like they really grew from blowing that game last year, that Ice Bowl that they played against Seattle.
Right.
Seems like their organization grew. And for them to be doing this without Teddy Bridgewater or AP is, you just can't say enough about that, really.
Well, Sam Bradford's getting his chance to shine right now.
Yeah.
And I think
he was all world. It wasn't like he was, it wasn't like he was a slouch.
I think that he had got the raw deal earlier, though,
You think?
Yeah, because he got put into that Chip Kelly scheme, and it didn't seem like it worked for anybody, not just for him, but anybody on that team. Jordan Matthews wasn't doing well. He just needed to be out and free so he can call his plays and play his game. Yeah, play his game.
It's so important for all of these guys because, these athletes, nobody really says it, but these guys are artists, and then everybody paints with their own brush.
Right.
And Tom Brady calls a different game than Peyton Manning, than Big Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, how about Big Ben? And all those guys, they have their own, angle.
Right.
They have to have the freedom to play their game.
To create.
Yeah,
they're artists.
That's what it is. Yeah. And so, but let's go back to that. How about Ben Roethlisberger on Sunday night?
Ben gave you the Big Ben. I think a lot of it was due to Le'Veon Bell coming back.
You predicted that.
Yeah.
You predicted that. And they made it ugly on Kansas City.
Man, but Le'Veon Bell, more than anybody, that guy changes the whole game around. He can line up in the slot. He can run for 120 yards. He can,
he can do it all.
He can do it all.
If he can stay on the field,
he can do it all. He can do it all. He's the best running back in the game. You would have to say.
You go with him. You go with him being the best.
It's hard to go with him in that system. But if I went with a better or the best running back in the game, I would actually go with Todd Gurley. He's just in a bad situation.
So, and you seem to have very strong feelings about Ram time, bruh.
Yeah, Rams, they're disappointing. They're winning, but it's disappointing.
Why'd they let the air out of your tire? What happened?
Because I think somebody walked up behind me, just pinched my tires.
What was it, a pin? Why?
They're winning, but it's smoke and mirrors.
New England, as you predicted, and contrary to Boston Mike's theory, so much for 16-0, Boston Mike.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
New England got their hats handed to them for the first time in Foxborough like that in the existence of the team. They said since your man Bill Parcells turned the franchise around, that's the first time they got smacked around like that.
Wow. And I think that the Buffalo Bills are 1-13 up there now. Man,
but that one was a big one.
Yeah.
That was total domination.
Yeah, but you can only get away with it for so long.
I'm still impressed with how long Bill Belichick got away with it.
Yeah.
If somebody would have said that the Pats will be 3-1 on a 4-game suspension from touchdown Tommy, I would be amazed. And he's coming back. You know he's going to come back with a vengeance.
I'm predicting 4 to 5 touchdowns coming up against Cleveland. I'm sorry, Cleveland.
I'm sorry, Cleveland. And they might be on foot. He might actually. I think Tom Brady's going to line up in the I formation, and he's going to be the center, the quarterback, the fullback, and the running back. I think he's all man, half amazing.
He's got to teach the league a lesson.
You can't do that to Tom Brady.
Come on, why?
Are you crazy?
Why would you do that to Tommy? Terrific.
Because everybody hates him. They just hate him just for no good reason.
Because he's got 4 of them.
Not just. He's got 4 of them. He's got a supermodel wife. He's living the life that everybody wants to lead, and everybody's mad at him. We can't beat him, and we will not join him. we can't beat him, and we will hate him to death. But I'm pretty, wow. But how about those Cardinals? I mean, I'm very disappointed in the Arizona Cardinals, and I have their defense on my fantasy squad, so I think I'm gonna have to starting the Raiders defense instead of the Cardinals defense. Just got word from Ernie that the Raiders are playing the Chargers this week coming up.
Yeah,
which the interdivision games are always difficult, but at home, black hole coming off a victory like that, I think we're gonna be all right.
I think they're gonna be in San Diego, right? Are they in San Diego, Ernie?
No, they're in Oakland. O-Town 357, get loose. Yeah, so Wow. So you don't like the Rams, you don't like the Raiders, you like the Vikings. Who do you like? Who else do you like?
The Vikings. No, Carolina's having a lot of problems.
And you brought up a great point, which was that it doesn't seem like Cam Newton himself has ever recovered from that opening night dirty play from the Broncos, to be honest.
Yeah, that's those sledgehammers to the head.
Yeah, helmet to helmet.
Yeah, and he's playing in the fog.
Man.
And that hit that he took on Sunday was like running to a truck.
Man. Oh, man, he got lit. You talking about when he went in the end zone?
Yes.
Helmet to helmet.
And what about the guy who led helmet to helmet? Why would you do that?
The thing is that Cam Newton's like 6'6".
Yes.
So, and those DBs are like 5'10". Those guys, you have to leap up to get that guy in the helmet to helmet
I think
scenario.
there was a linebacker that hit him, though, this time.
He lit him up.
That
was ugly.
But I still don't understand where you can get away with that. And not only that, I haven't heard a fine being handed down yet.
Not one. Unbelievable.
Where do you go that you get to hit somebody helmet to helmet? That Carson Palmer, they're talking about, they still didn't issue a fine for that. But Carson Palmer's probably going to be out for a long while now, they're saying.
Yeah. Man, that guy, I feel like Carson Palmer, is one of those people that after the game is over, he's going to be in a lot of pain. He's been really busted up over his professional career.
Couple of knees, right?
Tore that ACL, I think 2 times, 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. He got the shoulder issue.
Several concussions.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough. Football's a rough way of making a living. I prefer doing it fake on TV instead of doing it for real.
Nice.
Wow.
And, and those guys, they recommend that their players don't even, their kids don't even play football. Most of the NFL players don't even want their kids to play.
I mean, that's a pretty broad statement. I don't know about most of them. You think that nobody, the NFL won't exist in the next generation?
Well, it doesn't have to be their players to play.
I don't know.
They go out. Well, a lot of the big time players say, I wouldn't want my kid to play.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you look at our experience with John Matuzak and, how he used to feel. Yeah. How he used to say how he felt in the mornings after his career. And
take him a couple hours to get up and get moving.
Yeah.
He has to do it one leg at a time.
It's serious business, man.
Yeah.
That's a serious sacrifice, and who knows how much money that's worth if there's a monetary amount that you can assign to it.
Yeah, remember the bus, Jerome? He was talking about they had that special only before. He was talking about how long it takes him to come downstairs and everything else.
Yeah, but when everybody sees him, he still gets to be the bus.
He's still
I
the
mean,
bus.
what's that
Like,
word?
what's up, bus?
It's all good. The bus is what's up. The bus, a bus. Yeah.
And
Wow.
then you had Julio Jones and Matt Ryan.
Wow.
They lit the league up.
Come on, man. I'm surprised nobody won that $1 million on FanDuel.
Right.
Because those guys lit it up. But them and Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger lit it up too. The 500 yards is over the top.
It's
for
over
Matt
the top.
Ryan.
300 yards to Julio Jones though by itself.
Now, if you've given up Josh Norman and you give up then 500 yards to one quarterback in a week and your defense looks weak, how do you feel if you're the Panthers? Why don't you just pay the people that you're supposed to pay in the NFL? Why is it like that?
Well, you know what? Their number one quarterback, the cornerback, got hurt that game though. Their number one cornerback. So I don't know if he would have been, but you probably could have contained him. I don't think that you could have held him. I don't even think Josh Norman could really hold Julio Jones. To me, although I love Antonio Brown, Julio Jones to me, he has the size that really makes the difference as being the best receiver in the league.
Business is booming. I got to go with AB. I got to go with Nino Brown. You know why? Because the routes are so crisp.
Brown. I'm Julio Jones. Julio Brown.
Julio Brown actually just made me a great plate of ribs from the Rib Shack in Gardena. It was a banging. I said, hey, Julio Brown. Yeah, rib tip, pick it up.
What sauce?
Medium sauce.
No, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know about Julio Brown, but myself, I'm gonna stick with AB. He's durable. He takes a licking and keep on.
Julio, but Brown doesn't get hurt that much.
Yeah, because he runs excellent routes. He knows how to avoid the contact.
I just think that he's a smaller guy, and
that helps. That actually helps you in football, unless you're Randy Moss when you're the bigger guy and they can't hold you.
Julio Jones, man, he's got crazy burners. He was just flat out outrunning the defense, just running by them. It's unbelievable. And I like Nino because he can go on special teams, but they could use Julio Jones like that as well. They just don't. You just pick your style, I guess.
Yeah.
My style is the big man Julio Jones.
Oh, shout out to Shaq Diesel.
just off top. He's a big man.
This is big man series, all-time great. What do you want from the Diesel? Yeah, wow. NFL shaping up.
Right? I'm hearing that the teammates are calling for Cap to start now.
Now, did you see this? The protest is now trickling down to Pop Warner, to there's all kind of people.
As it should, because people are still being killed. American citizens are still being killed in the streets by the authorities. Yeah, just this week, we had a few more.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I maintain, like I did on the talk show when they asked me about it, which is, what is the win?
Right, the end result.
The end result, are we looking for a law change? What is the demand? What's the ask? Obviously, in general, African Americans are asking to not be targeted by the authorities, for being African American.
Right.
But as far as Kaepernick and the football protest goes, what's the ask? What's the win?
Right, because they started the conversation, but how do you end it? And I guess you want to initiate a movement, but then after you initiate the movement, where do we go from here?
Wow. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
You know where I go?
Where?
To the 5-4 Club.
What do you get there?
Straight away. I get a box of clothes that comes every single month that's worth more than $150 for $60 a month.
That's a great deal.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you look fresh, you feel fresh. And let me tell you, fall is upon us. Winter's coming after that. You need your wardrobe right, fellas. It's no longer time for shorts and T-shirts. All right? Get some clothes, get in the game, and find yourself a woman. This is what you want to do. And if you want help with that, you let the stylist at the 5-4 Club help you out. Check it out, 54club.com. Put in promo code Omar. And you just watch that discount you pick up. You watch and see. You're going to enjoy it. Thank me later, in the words of Drake. So I was out in Las Vegas.
What'd you do?
I went to the Bad Boy Family reunion tour. And it was incredible.
Really?
I mean, really. Even though the artists were old and a little... a couple steps behind than what they were. I mean, this guy, I got so much respect for Puff Daddy. I can't front. This dude, the show that he put together was remarkable because, if you're, I would say if you're anywhere from 25 to 50 years old, you'll know most of the lyrics to all of the artist's songs. Everybody came out. Faith Evans, 112, Lil' Kim. He even brought out people that weren't on Bad Boy. DMX, Belle Biv DeVoe came out and did Poison. It was
really?
What? It was incredible. It was an incredible show. And I was just blown away by that sort of American dream coming to fruition. You can see it, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And his best artist wasn't even there. Right. Clayton Kershaw didn't even pitch for him. Like his best, and he still dealt. He still balled. It was unbelievable. I mean, his best artist is Biggie, and he's no longer with us. And it just still was rocking. Place was jumping, man. Vegas was happening. And one of the other reasons it was happening is because people were laying down wagers on this Major League Baseball playoffs.
Which is,
I mean, bananas.
Start.
Where do you start? I guess we better start today because the game's about to start. By the time that this podcast is up, you guys will be knee deep in playoff baseball. So it's going down tonight. We got the Orioles and the Blue Jays. How do you feel about this game? We got Chris Tillman going up against Marcus Stroman.
You know what? Both of these young guys came out and pitched well this year, but I think that I don't know if they have the stamina, so it might turn out to be a little slugfest. That's what John Gibbons. That's what the Blue Jays coach. That's what he predicted. Yeah, because both of these guys, they're not like strikeout artists, so they pitch a little bit more to contact than you actually need against these two powerhouses. It's sort of unfortunate to see them play this early against each other.
It would be nice to see them in a series, right? Because I mean, 19 games this year, they went 10-9. The Blue Jays have a 1-game edge over them, which is why they're playing in Toronto.
I would like to prefer to have J.A. Happ start this game for me, though, more so than Marcus Stroman.
I agree. But I don't have anybody else that I'd rather start than Chris Tillman for the Orioles.
Right. But when you come down to the sticks, actually, I stay with Baltimore over Toronto because
let's read off these lineups for Baltimore. Well, since you prefer Baltimore, let's start with the Blue Jays. You got Devin Travis,
nice.
Josh Donaldson, the
Uber
MVP,
nice.
Uber nice. Edwin Encarnacion,
crazy nice.
Joey Bats,
he's the bat,
king of the bat flip. Russell Martin, who is a clutch player.
I know, but he's not. He's not somebody who I fear.
No, but he can hurt you when you're busy when you're busy trying not to make mistakes to those top four guys. He can sting you. Troy Tulowitzki, who I have to say has been somewhat surprisingly quiet.
I'm not surprised though. Tulo was like on the slide a little bit when he left Colorado,
and then he got hurt after that. Yeah. Michael Saunders at DH.
It's a pretty slick move.
Kevin Pillar.
Yeah, see, now you're getting into the defensive players.
Ezekiel Carrera.
I like that kid.
That kid's got a lot of heart. Crafty, scrappy, as they say.
I'd put him in the category of an Angel Pagan type player.
I can't put him up there with Angel.
I can't, but he's that type of player.
Yeah. Angel is big-time ball player.
Forget about it.
And we're going to see it tomorrow night.
You're see it tomorrow.
And then on the flip side here, Baltimore's rolling out Adam Jones.
Are you crazy? Adam Jones, man.
Hyun-Seo Kim.
He's nice.
He's you know what I like about that combo? Is that Kim is like the only guy that's not a power guy. Right. He can hit the ball. He can hit.
Yeah,
he's a 300 guy. He's a hitter.
Yeah. With pop.
Manny Machado.
We can't even say enough about him.
I mean, realistically, you're looking at if there was a way to get Nolan Arenado in this game,
forget about it.
These would be the best third basemen like for a long, long time in these games.
Right.
You got Donaldson, Machado, and Arenado and Adrian Beltre are like super elite.
Top tier.
Okay, then we're back to Jumbo Trumbo, the major league leader in home runs.
47 bombs, man. Come on.
47 bombs. And the ball gets they get out anywhere he hits them. But
look at that lineup. It's consistent.
It's consistency.
There's no Russell Martin in there.
Then you got the switch hitter Matt Wieters, who hit 2 bombs on Sunday.
Are you kidding? Come on, man.
Then you got Chris Davis, who's hit a collective 150 home runs over the past couple seasons. Last 4 seasons?
The Orioles are serious business in this game.
Then Jonathan
Scopey.
This is who I like in the lineup. Michael Bourne.
You like MB?
I love MB. Remember when we went out to Atlanta and we hung out with Michael Bourne? He's a serious ball player.
He is.
He's a prepared ball player. He's in great shape.
And he understands the game.
He understands situations, the game, and he has speed. This is, in my opinion, the only weakness that they have is they don't have enough speed.
And Toronto does have speed, and they like to run, which might come out to be the difference in the game.
Could be the difference in the game, and then you round that lineup off with J.J. Hardy, who likes to give you a random bomb.
Right.
He loves to hit you 20 bombs.
Now, the downside to the Blue Jays is that with Marcus Stroman, he's going to pitch to contact. But the upside is if he could keep more than, not get 2 runners on base at the same time, because Baltimore lives for the 3-run bomb, So if you can shut that 3-run bomb down, you can keep the game pretty tight.
You can keep it tight. And you know what? And I don't get the feeling that Baltimore is interested in adjusting their strategy.
At all.
Playoffs, non-playoffs, stick ball out front, at the sandwich shop, wherever you are, they're looking for a 3-run bomb.
They're looking for a 3-run bomb.
Yeah.
And Toronto can make the adjustments. And Toronto will steal you a bag.
They'll steal you a bag. They'll bunt a runner over.
Yeah, even Russell Martin will steal you a bag.
Which is big.
Yeah, which is big.
Matt Wieters is not stealing you a bag.
Yeah, he's not stealing you a bag.
He's not stealing you a bag.
So this should be a great game.
This should be a great game because then when you go to the bullpen, you got to give the edge to the Orioles.
Yeah, exactly. And forget about closing. Zach Britton is unhittable.
Zach Britton's the best closer
Forget
in baseball.
about scoring.
If they're up in the 8th inning, the game is over. That's it.
Lights out.
Zach Britton can get you 6 outs.
Yes.
And he can get you 6 outs with like the tying run on third with no outs. He's got that kind of like Mariano Rivera kind of stuff.
And he can go through your heart of your lineup.
He will go through the heart of your lineup. I can't say the same for Ozuna, even though Ozuna's young and he's
got power stuff.
Yeah.
But you feel like he could implode.
Well, we saw it. I saw it last year. I saw it a couple times. I can't remember who that was that hit that monster grand slam off of him. Might have been David Ortiz.
Right. We didn't think that he was going to bounce back
after that. And he did bounce back.
Yeah, he bounced back. He's young. He brushed it off.
Oh, you know who it was? I think it was Salvador Perez. It was the Royals.
It was Salvi.
It was somebody on the Royals that really hurt him. Last year on the Royals run. I can't remember who that was. Remember? Because they got past the Rangers with Joey Bats and the bat flip, and then somebody took Osuna deep. In a big situation, I didn't think he was going to bounce back. And he had a great year this year, to be honest.
Speaking of the Rangers, I'm actually going to take the Rangers.
To win it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over the National League as well.
If the Dodgers make it, I don't think they can beat the Dodgers. But if anybody else but the Dodgers, I think that they're going to make it.
The Rangers have everything you need.
Yeah, they have a bullpen. They have power. They have speed. They have consistency.
They got starters.
They have hitters.
They can
defense.
Come on, man. They're violent. They can Rooney Odor can bust your nose if you need.
You want to go to the parking lot, he's there for you.
He's there.
Meet me at section 102. You know what I'm saying?
I love the fact that your Rooney Odor is from the hood.
He got to be.
You know what I'm saying?
He got to be from the hood.
I swear
you chunk him like that.
A
Come
Latin
on now.
ball player. Awesome. Yeah, no. But let's stick to these games. This game, I wonder, I need to check what the over-under is. I don't expect it to be the under this game. I expect some runs to get scored. Marcus Stroman has been dealing as of late.
He has.
But Marcus Stroman also has that tendency to be over-emotional.
Yeah.
Which then causes him to walk guys, which then sets up that 3-run bomb that Baltimore is looking for. And they can hit as many of them as they need.
Yes.
If you pitch the contact with Baltimore, he needs to have a game like he had the other day in Houston, where he struck out 11 guys,
right.
12 guys.
But you know what? Baltimore has a little bit more discipline than Houston players.
Yeah. Just a little though. Baltimore likes to strike out a lot as well.
Yeah. But I think that what really comes down to me in this game is the umpire behind the plate.
It's going to be interesting because if they have a wide zone, you might look at a 14-11 game.
Yeah. No, if they have a tight
zone.
They
have a tight zone, rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight zone is going to be a problem. But then the loose zone, this is where it works against Marcus Stroman because he can't control his emotions.
I feel the same way. I think it's going to be telling early. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to come out. I expect Baltimore to come out and jump out. I expect Baltimore. I think Adam Jones gets it started. I think Adam Jones might even swing at the first pitch of the game just to see what he can do.
He likes to swing at the first pitch.
He's an aggressive dude. He's not looking for a walk ever.
And Manny Machado is a hitter. He's the best hitter in their lineup.
Maybe the best hitter in the league.
Yeah.
So
he tapered off a little bit because he got tired, but he's like a top-tier hitter. He's not just a slugger. 35 bombs, can bat in the threes.
But this is how I feel on the low about Edwin Encarnacion on the other side. Yeah. Josh Donaldson is a triple crown threat, so he can do everything.
Yes.
But you back him up with Edwin. I've seen Edwin tie and win games with home runs. I've also seen him get that nice double in the right center field gap that you need. I've seen him sack fly. That guy's a sound ball player, and the Reds shouldn't have gave up on him when they did.
Yeah, he was young. But another thing that you have to look at in this series is defense. And when you go to defense, you have Manny Machado and
Adam Jones
and Scobie And
You
even
got a
J.J.
nice
Hardy.
and J.J. Hardy's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean.
And Chris Davis can pick it at first base.
The weak link is Mark Trumbo if they have him out there, but he might not even
I
be
think
out
he's a
there.
DH.
If he's a DH, then that works out well for them.
Yeah, I think
but
he's a
otherwise,
DH.
you're talking about, a serious issue. The defense is going to be key in these games.
Now, who calls a better game? Matt Wieters or Russell Martin?
I would definitely go with Matt Wieters.
Listen, I don't get offended, brother. I'm just asking you
Don't
a
ever
question.
ask about Matt Wieters. Who do you think you are?
We
dude?
on a podcast, dude. Relax. I got to ask questions.
Meet me in section 102.
No, why? Where's Julio Brown with my rim tips? Oh, my goodness. Wow. This is going to be, I got to get off the mic so we can get to the game. I'm
Right?
excited.
Yeah.
We got that game. Now then let's break down what's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the New York Mets.
We have a problem for the New York Mets.
We sure do.
And they
We
call
can-
the Giants.
They're called the champs. Let's just call them the champs.
Yeah.
You know the Giants are 25-1 to win the World Series right now.
I'm not surprised.
$500 bring you back 12-5. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
That this is incredible.
Because they don't.
It's not beautiful the way that they beat
No,
you.
they backdoor their way in. And
They did it again. They snuck in the playoffs.
and they're a problem.
You gotta face Madison Bumgarner, who don't even talk about his postseason body of work. Not just the year that they won it.
No,
his
period.
postseason body of work is
Period.
incredible.
You just have a weak link in Samardzija, which I would put him on the total back end. You go Cueto, and then if you go Matt Moore, because Matt Moore just threw a gym the other day.
One of several of his past 5 starts.
He's killing the National League.
He's and I think he's going to kill the Cubs if they make it.
Yeah.
I see this game, but now the flip side of that is that we got to see Noah Syndergaard throw. Well, let's finish the matchup for people who don't know. You got the New York baseball Mets, the Metropolitans, hosting the San Francisco baseball Giants, and that's going to be tomorrow night in Flushing, New York, in Queens, huh? And you need to bring out your pizza pie because this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. The problem with the Giants is they like to not score runs. And the thing that I'm hanging on to is my preseason prediction that the Giants were going to go to the World Series in the sense that they have experience. And nobody wants to say this, but I think they got the best coach in baseball.
Yeah.
Bruce Bochy knows how to win.
He
and I've
does.
talked to a lot of players who love playing for Bruce Bochy. I'm very interested to see what Thor comes to the table with because Thor's been lights out the last few times out. And recently he's been lights out, but then there was that stretch where I don't know if his arm went dead or what. It was that bone chip that he
had
had.
a bone spur.
Yeah.
And he's just pitching around it right now. But the thing of it is, what the Giants understand, especially in situations like this, is that they need to take pitches, foul pitches off. You get his pitch count up, you get him out of the game, and then you get to that mediocre bullpen.
And therein lies the problem.
Same thing with the Giants, though. The Giants have a well below.
Even though those kids they brought up have been effective.
Yeah, the kids have been effective.
But who knows if they'll be effective when the lights are on.
Right. And
Although the lights have been on for the past 2 weeks for them to even make the playoffs.
Yeah, but you're going to Sergio Romo to close the games, and you have to go Sergio Romo or Familia. I'm taking Familia. Familia's mean.
He is, but Sergio Romo, for some reason, people can't lay off that weak slider.
It's weak.
I've been watching
he
it
got
for
Miguel
like
Cabrera with it.
Come on, man! I've been watching it for like 7 years now. He
You
gets
get-
people with that slide
You
piece.
get Miggy, man. You
You can get anybody, so I can't knock him anymore. I'm very excited about that. Now, then, the winner of that game flies to Chicago to be hosted by the Chicago Cubs, who are the all-out favorites to win the World Series.
Well, you know what? The Giants can beat the Cubs. I don't think that the Mets can.
I don't think the Mets have enough starting pitching.
No.
Especially with Syndergaard throwing this game.
Yeah.
I don't even think Syndergaard gets to go twice then in the division series.
No.
And everybody else is busted.
He'll go twice, but it's twice enough in that situation, and you might be down. You know what I'm saying? It's true though. You might not go twice. You could get swept.
It's only a 5-game
it's only
series.
5
This is
games.
what's so beautiful
Yeah.
about Major League Baseball.
It's true.
Is that you're not messing around like basketball where you get 7 games. The underdog has a chance in baseball. Mm-hmm. So we got that series, and then we got the Boston Red Sox versus the Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Poor Indians. In a world full of Indians. One team will seek to eliminate them all.
Now, I don't know, though. Is it Cleveland's year? Did King James turn the beat around for the city of Cleveland?
Maybe. They have one of the best coaches in baseball.
They sure do.
And he knows how to win.
Tito knows how to win. They actually have a decent bullpen with Andrew Miller there. I'm not a firm believer in Cody Allen shutting you down.
No,
but
and their arms. The
I don't
starting
know.
pitcher.
Trevor Bauer dealt the other day.
Yeah, he's inconsistent. And then Danny Salazar. I mean,
They're talking about bringing Danny Salazar back, and I have no
Are you
idea
kidding?
why. Yes. That's what they're saying.
yeah, I guess they get their money's worth, throw his arm out, right?
I guess so. But Corey Kluber is a guy I think you can count on. And they're talking game 2, David Price versus Corey Kluber. And I probably take Corey Kluber in that situation.
I wouldn't.
I don't know. I mean,
Although
which
David
is-
Price
which is-
eventually has to win a game.
I was going to say, that's saying a lot for you who doesn't like David Price. But they're going to be in Cleveland.
No, don't say that. I like David Price. He just doesn't get it done.
He had pretty much a 4 ERA this year.
It's not getting it done.
And I mean, I don't think that Cleveland's ready for Rick Porcello. I watch Cleveland, and I watch a lot of their games this year. Other than that crazy winning streak that they had, 15, 17 games, whatever that was, they like to come from behind and win. I don't think that's going to work on Boston because you can't outlast Boston.
No, they're built to last.
Those guys, they might have the best lineup in baseball. That lineup is silly.
With that kid that they brought, Benintendi.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Pedroia leading it off.
In a 9-hole? Man, come on, dude.
Mookie, you got several MVP candidates in their lineup.
Well, you know what? They have a mixture of the American League, National League style.
Sure do.
You know?
They don't need the 3-1 bomb,
No.
but they can hit it.
Yeah, and they still bases.
They steal bases.
They play small ball, they'll bunt.
Forget about it.
You know, yeah, the defense,
is airtight. Airtight. The ball's not dropping in the outfield
No.
if it's catchable.
Benintendi's playing left, and he's a center fielder.
Come on, man.
You have Mookie Betts in right.
Mookie can play center.
Yeah, Mookie can play center. Jackie Bradley in center.
Come on, man. These guys are legit. Xander Bogaerts giving you a nice shortstop. They're
Yeah.
tight up the middle.
Pedroia.
Sander Leon.
Come on, man.
And
Ram at first.
I said early this year, I said it was going to be the Red Sox and the Giants. And you know what? My hope is still alive, but the Texas Rangers could be standing in the way of that. and I tell you, the only team that, in my opinion, in the National League that the Dodgers don't want to see is the San Francisco Giants.
Yes. That's their kryptonite.
You got San Francisco. I mean, you got the Dodgers who are opening up on the road against the Washington Nationals. You get a great matchup in that first game on Friday.
You do.
You get Kershaw versus Scherzer. Kershaw on the road. I personally think the
How many total
Nationals
runs?
are about to get carved.
How many total runs?
You know what? Maybe 6.
You going 6? Wow.
Maybe. And then, I'm going to tell you why. Not from number 22. I mean, you're going to be lucky to get 2 off of Kershaw. Lucky. Scherzer gives up runs. And also, but see, it's so hard with Mad Max. Mad Max can mess around and strike out 15 dudes.
Kershaw. He can too.
You might be looking at a 3-1 game.
I'm looking at 3-1. I'm looking at 3-1 for the Dodgers. The only thing that they have, which is the X factor for them, is Daniel Murphy. But
Daniel Murphy
injured.
hasn't had any at bats in like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the X factor because he can hit Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah,
and he's shown that.
Yeah, he's shown that
multiple times. That's a good point.
And I think that's the reason why they got it.
I agree. And I also believe, though, on the flip side, I'd be surprised. I would love to know what Adrian Gonzalez averages against Max Scherzer. Because Adrian Gonzalez seems like the kind of guy that can hit Max Scherzer. And they have speed guys who I think can give him a problem. I think Corey Seager's going to – I'm looking for a big October out of Corey Seager.
But let me ask you this. What about your boy Andrew Tolles?
Man, don't even get me started on that young man. He looks like he's Rick Ross's long-lost child. But he is dealing on the field. You see what I did there? That dude, Andrew Tolles, plays the game the right way. You hear people say that. He plays the game the way that you are taught to play the game, the way that the scouts want to see you play the game when you're trying to get to the show or become a professional baseball player.
It's true.
He does it all, man. And I really applaud Dave Roberts for giving him a chance to play.
Yeah, give that kid a shot. He gave a couple of those kids, Culberson.
Yeah. And now this is where I wonder, though, because with the inconsistency of the Dodgers lineup, meaning you don't know which lineup is going to roll out, what's going to happen to a Puig? What's going to happen to a...
This is when, for me, Puig has to sit down. I mean, because Puig has shown you what he does in the playoffs. I mean, he gives us the Puig. I'm not mad at him, but he has a hole. He has holes in his swing. And somebody like Max Scherzer is going to exploit
he's
it.
not going to. He can't
He's
go
gonna
against
eat
Mad
it.
Max.
He's going to eat his lunch.
He's going to eat his lunch. He can go against some of the other national stars.
Gio Gonzalez.
But it's funny. The Dodgers can't hit lefties. So Gio might be the one to get them the victory.
Yeah, true story.
And I don't really feel like their bullpen is airtight. Mark Melancon ended up with like 46, 47 saves or something like that. But I've seen Mark Melancon in trouble.
Yeah.
And if I got to go Melanson or Ken Lee, I'm going with Ken Lee.
Ken Lee.
And also, besides Ken Lee, the Dodgers got that big bullpen, man. They shut you down.
And you're talking about the horse going Clayton Kershaw. You really don't need him.
Well, he ain't going to pitch every game.
Yeah, but that first game, you're talking about them getting some rest. The game, but you know what?
They've been getting some rest. This is a week. Everybody's not playing from Sunday till Friday. That's a long time off.
Let me tell you something. The X factor for this Washington national team is that kid Trey Turner.
Sure is. He can change everything.
Because
if he can figure out how to get on base,
all he needs to do is get on base with Kershaw.
That's it.
And it's a problem.
And it's a problem. It's a problem. And then he can serve up a Rendon type.
Yeah, because he steals bags.
Yeah.
It's easier to steal third off of a lefty than it is to steal first, but
that kid Trey Turner is legit, and if it wasn't for Corey
power
Seager,
and speed.
If it wasn't for Corey Seager, he'd win the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
and he plays good defense.
They're plugging and playing him all over the place.
That kid's he's gonna be something special. I'd look for him to go high rounds in my draft next year. Woo-wee. Man, Major League Baseball, folks. You heard it here. It's about to go down. You know what else you heard here? It's one of the most delicious things you can ever put in your mouth. It is called a clean snack. Go to melissasproduce.com and check out the coconut clean snacks. That's just my favorite. They have other ones, cranberry, quinoa, lots of different flavors. This is a healthy treat. It is stone cold delicious, folks. I promise you. Look for it. Look for it at your local health food store. Clean snacks. All right. Well, I want to wrap it up. I want to talk about this Ben Simmons character. Can you believe this?
This is terrible for the Phillies.
Or the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, the Phillies.
I think the Phillies might be fine about it. I don't think they were planning to start him in the field.
Baseball glued to the brain, dude. I'm sorry.
This kid has what could potentially be this Jones fracture, and
taking down a lot of great players. Kevin Durant
almost took him out.
Yeah.
Let's hear what the doctor has to say about this situation.
Right.
Dr. Plants, how you feeling out there, sir? You're live on the Ozone.
You guys offshore again in a boat so we can track you or what?
No. We're trying to avoid Zika. We're calling you to figure out if this mosquito that just bit me is a Zika or a yellow fever, a dengue.
One, it doesn't like ex-baseball players. Two, take a look at it, go out there and grab it or its buddy, and if it's got stripes on it and you're bit in the daytime, you're kind of screwed.
Good to know. Doc, talk to me.
Good to know.
Life is happening fast, and this NBA season is just about to start. And this kid who I actually hung out with in Miami, and he looks like a baby when you see him. Number 1 draft pick, this kid Ben Simmons. They're talking about this Jones fracture on his foot. Can you enlighten our listeners to exactly what that is?
My goodness, enlighten.
I did. That's what you do. You shed the light.
What have you been doing? You picked up a thesaurus and tried to come up with words that kind of trick everybody.
I got them posted on my forehead right now.
Okay, and your brother's giving you hand signals.
That's what it is.
From the dugout.
We want you to steal third.
I don't feel sorry at all. Jones fractures they've been around for a long, long time, longer than at least me, maybe not as long as Omar, but they
and bad knees.
They're not really uncommon. I see them all the time, and the age makes no difference. It's a fracture. I don't know if you're familiar with what a metatarsal is, and since you're talking about this, you probably looked it up.
Unfortunately, I've broken one myself, so I looked it up.
Yeah, it's that kind of long bone between the ankle or the calcaneus bone, which is your heel bone, to the toe, and Latin guys are really cool. Everybody should look up when somebody throws a term at you medically, just look it up what it means. Those guys are so smart, man. They name stuff for what it looked like. Like in the pituitary, off subject, pituitary gland sits in something called the sella turcica. If you look at it from the side, it looks like a Turkish saddle.
Oh, wow.
So these guys, that's what that means in Latin. So they're pretty bright guys. But the Jones fracture, has probably been around forever. Dr. Jones, back in the early 1900s, the first one to actually describe it. And the way that long bone is on the side of the foot, it has something called a tubercle. And a tubercle on a bone is like where something is physiologically, chronically getting stressed, like a tendon attaches there or a ligament, and it pulls on it so the bone kind of grows this little bump there to kind of support and give extra reinforcement to the tendon or ligament as it attaches. And it's pretty cool. The Jones fractures, if they occur, well, anyway, it's caused by just some kind of unusual strain on the outside part of the foot. Basketball players, I see it a lot when they go way up and they come down hard on the side of their foot because some jerk is trying to get underneath them when they're getting a rebound and it causes the foot down. Strange.
And that kid's a high flyer.
He rolled his ankle.
Yeah, they thought he rolled his ankle. They just thought it was a bad sprain at first.
And if they x-rayed more of these low ankle sprains versus a high ankle sprain, they'd probably find more microscopic fractures in the foot. Most commonly, though, it used to be in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, what's called a March fracture, which is similar, but it's more in the body of the bone. The ends of the bones, metaphysis and diaphysis. The proximal is more where it occurs, or the closest to the heel. March fractures were because in boot camp they would wear boots that actually had large heels, and those rubber or solid heels would actually hit the middle of the side of the foot there on the outside. So when they marched on gravel or just hard surfaces, it actually stressed there, and they did a March fracture right in the middle of that side of the foot, which is really probably more common for me to see than actually, a Jones fracture. Because March fractures, I see it with people who, decide at 50 years old they want to become a martial arts expert or run marathons.
Wow.
I don't know what Kool-Aid they're drinking, but the Jones fracture, most of them I see, and I treat a lot of pro, college, high school, semi-pro, and weekend warriors, like Omar and I. That where they, if you take a look at it, and I'm not going to mention Phil's name, but if you look at some of the shoes that are made to this day, when I was in track and football and played baseball in the 60s and 70s, the shoes they had a square heel. So it's just square. You know what I mean? Straight up and down, perpendicular at 90 degrees. Rockaports had great shoes. They were always square. Nike had great shoes. I used Adidas mostly when I was running, and the heels are, kind of square, so that you're not changing the arch of the foot or the stride and impact of the foot. What happens is now everybody's buying these. I'll get to the Jones fracture in a second, but what happens physiologically is they now get these wafer shoes that are put out by a lot of the companies, where actually the shoe is like a pyramid. It's waved out. It's wide at the bottom and comes narrow to the heel. So if you can picture that and draw a line, you'll see that the top of that pyramid is right about where your Achilles tendon sits. That's like trying to balance a basketball on a pyramid. You're not going to get it to happen. And so every stride anybody takes wearing those shoes, particularly somebody stopping and going and running and jumping, that heel is going to chronically roll. So either it's going to strain the inside or outside of the knee, the outside part of the hip, the groin, cause low back pain, but most commonly the ankle takes the brunt of the force. So you take that weight plus the velocity plus the height, and you can calculate exactly how much vector energy is going through one part of the ankle or not. And when they roll it out, maybe he runs supinated and the outside of the shoe's kind of worn out, and I'm forced to roll more. But if you've got a wedge-shaped shoe, you should just take them off, throw them away, and go get a squared heel. And sometime we can talk about how to buy a shoe, because athletic shoes are very important that you do the dynamics properly. They used to have what's called a coefficient of reproduction when I was doing it in the 70s, and that's where they would actually, Phil Knight would actually have them check the shoes, just a few hundred shoes produced, and re-look at them to make sure the heel cup was straight and the shoe was straight. And now if you look at them, I always tell everybody, get 3 boxes of shoes your size, pull them out, make sure they're square heel, make sure the middle of the heel cup is straight up and down, and it's not torqued to the inside or outside, because that causes reoccurrence of injuries. But with the pyramid, that's the biggest complication I see with these. It's causing everybody's ankles to roll out or in. And if you just get a regular old flat, nice squared heel, it's not going to happen. But if you can picture, a ball sitting on top of a pyramid, it's going to roll one way or the other, right?
Absolutely. And I think what's happening is that there's a lot of health that's being sacrificed for fashion at this point, because the shoe business is such big business.
Yeah, you're right. And I think they've lost the dynamics of the physics of it all, because, high-speed film vector evaluation will show you that the ankle rolls and the knee angles one way or the other based on the shoe plant and where your foot strikes. Like if a person runs with, say they're a miler, and because I used to run sometimes in the morning with a guy named Steve Prefontaine. He was a little older than I was, but watch him run, and his heel strike and stuff was perfect. In other words, his toes were almost straight. There was an article I read with 4 inches of deviation where your toes have turned out about 4 inches and they run a mile. They're actually going to end up running about 10 or 12 feet further than anybody else. So you straighten it out, and you get a guy who has a world record. He's going to smash it when he gets running right.
Wow.
So anyway, they used to measure these shoes all the time, and then they started coming out in the '90s with coming out with these wafer shoes with the wide bases, and then they narrow up at the heel. Those are just dangerous, man. Then along with it there's 3 muscles called the peroneus muscles. And there's a long one, which when you get a high ankle sprain, it's usually that one. Then that's the peroneus longus. Then you have the brevis and tertius. Now, the brevis is like a low ankle sprain, but it attaches part of it right there to that tubercle of that bone. So twisting it, you usually get a sprained ankle. At the same time, you tear a few of the ligaments between the side of the ankle, and I won't give you all the names of it and all that stuff. But it'll then sometimes just pull that bone loose. Now, usually that means that he's been doing it off and on and had microfractures in there, a little bit of tenderness, and then suddenly twist it and it breaks it. So that's the big one, is because of the muscle there. So that you can re-educate the body. All my athletes that do a lot of running and jumping, I try to get them to build up their anterior tibialis and the peroneus muscles. That will recreate the arch for them so that they actually have a good stride without dropping their foot and then putting more pressure on that bone on the outside. And it usually works pretty good. Now, with a Jones fracture, it can be a complete one, which is all the way through. It's usually anywhere from a 90 to a 45-degree angle through that bone because of the torque. And it can be real close to the end of the bone, which most of the time nobody really does surgery or anything, or just rehab. And then there's one that's kind of like in the middle of the tubercle, just below that part. And that one and the one that's more towards the center of the foot, those fractures when complete. Nobody's wrong. There's at least 3 or 4 ways to treat it.
How long do you expect for this kid is going to take him to come back, do you think? He's a young kid. He's in the prime of his athletic life. What kind of time do you think it takes to rehab? And I do believe the kid had surgery today.
How old is he?
19. The guy, he's a child.
Yeah, so he probably still has a growth plate, and you just have to see if it's through the epiphysis or growth plate of that bone. A lot of guys don't even finish growing until they're 25, as I think I've told you at my office before.
Yeah, I was one of those
guys. It depends if it's through a growth plate. If it's through the growth plate, then that means it still has blood supply. Now, read orthopedic journals. There's 2 bones in the body that they think have no blood supply. One is the scaphoid bone or the navicular of the wrist. You break that, the common treatment is to watch it. If it starts to get sclerotic, that means there's no blood supply to it. It's not going to heal. It's called non-union. They'll usually drill holes through it with a real microscopic needle drill and create bleeding in there so that the bone bleeds a little bit, and then it causes more fibroblasts and osteoblasts, all this stuff that makes it heal faster. That's a pretty good way to go if you know if somebody's good at it. So on the Jones fracture, what I'd usually do is, and it depends. You've been to my office. If they're just Joe Blow and they're not going to be trying to get back and it's not their career, I can take a little bit more time. Usually I put a walking boot on them. And the only thing I hate about that is that people will use it and walk on it when they're not supposed to. Sometimes a cast and tell them to use a crutch for about 10 to 14 days. And then you want to re-x-ray it within that period to see if you blow it up, if there's mild calcification occurring, which, where the bone starts to heal again. So if you start to see a little bit of the bone start to heal, then you don't want to go in there and do surgery. And at 18 or 19 years old, I know the doctors and some trainers with the sports clinics, that affiliated with Major League anything, they get paid good. Go in there and surgically fix it. So I haven't seen the fracture, so I can't say if he should or shouldn't have. Now, it depends if they put a wire in there, if they put a screw in there. I found that unless a screw is really needed, that there's a lot of prolonged disability that occurs. I've seen a lot of scarring, a few years down the road. I've seen them get neuropathies because the ligaments and the fibrous tissue around that holds everything together there gets scarred and gets more stiff. So it all depends. Me personally, if it's right at the tip of the bone and he's young, I just put a boot on it, watch it, and recheck it. If it's right in the kind of just past that, more towards the end of the tubercle, then you have to recheck the X-ray, and I do it in like 7 days. If it looks like it's starting to scar down and heal, then don't do any surgery.
But Doc, the kid already had surgery. You're giving us the full medical display, which makes me wonder. I mean, you really don't sound like you know anything about this. I don't know why you called in, but more importantly,
I know very little about it. I've only been doing this for 37 years.
About as long as I've been on the planet. But my question is, with this kid, there's been a lot of controversy as to when he'll be able to play. And there's a lot of word. They're saying 8 weeks. Some people are saying more than a year.
Right. What Jim wants him to sit out
for a full year because there was another superstar who did this and tried to come back too quickly, and it almost ruined his career. So in a very quick sum up, what do you think?
Normally it's 6 to 8 weeks. But again, you have to look at the callus at 6 to 8 weeks and see if it's callus, if it's unionized completely. If it's a non-union,
then he's going to get kicked out of SAG.
Never come back. But I'm going to tell you right. If the way to speed it up, if you want to, even with a wire in there or a screw, if they've done surgery already, is to go in and use it's a bone stimulating device. They have them. They charge like $900, $1,200 for these things. I opened mine up to find out why it was so expensive. So 1 or 2 9-volt batteries you can buy at the store with 2 wires that go right to the leads.
Welcome to America.
I said $3 machine for $1,200. So I just have my patients get 9-volt batteries and literally recreate something called the piezo's currents. So if he's on a cast, not wearing a cast, not putting any stress on it in that time frame, you don't create the crystal kind of current that occurs with bones. And what will happen is it just delays the slowing. So as soon as possible to start using it and maybe get a bone stimulator. Bone stimulators are phenomenal. Now, I don't know what kind of surgery they did that out. After I talk to you, I'll Google and see what they did. It's always hurry up and get him to play. If you get a guy and you treat him right, even if it takes a year, he'll be a better player. If he's strong enough and they check the muscle integrity of those 3 muscles, the pronis, longus, brevis, and tertius, and he's good and there's no sensitivity. But let me tell you how to diagnose this quick without an X-ray. If it's a complete fracture, you get a C tuning fork, bing it on something, and then put it right on where you think the fracture is. The nerves around there, the periosteal nerves, are very sensitive, and somebody will scream like you just stabbed them. And that usually means it's broken. But I think 6 or 8 weeks, if they did surgery, that's normal. 8 weeks is normal for anybody that's having surgery. But if they don't have surgery and they heal up real fast, you can look at him probably being able to exercise in a normal person by 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Well,
then once those muscles are strengthened,
remind me to not get on your bad side. And I would also not like to see what happens in your bedroom. But I am very, very happy that you had time to call in. Thank you for enlightening the listeners and blessing us with your medical knowledge. Hope you're having a good day out there, Doc, and I'm going to be in to see you soon. My knee's still swollen.
Get in here, dude. Quit traveling so much.
All right, Doc, we'll catch you soon.
And I'm a grandfather. I've got another granddaughter, right?
I heard. Congratulations. I heard. Keep that clan growing. I love it.
All right, bro. Well, I'll see you when you come in.
All right, now, thanks.
Talk to you soon, Doc.
We hit them on all angles here, folks. And if you
very thorough.
If you are a medical student, then you really enjoyed that 30-minute diatribe about the Jones fracture. Me, myself, I just wanted to know when Ben Simmons was coming back to play. I still don't know. But I can tell you how to inflict some serious pain with a tuning fork and a broken ankle.
That's crazy.
That's wild. Wow. Well, but just summing it up on the ticks and the quick tips because that was pretty thorough. Did you see that guy out at the Ryder Cup that jumped on and made that putt?
Called him out. And
unbelievable.
He came through.
This guy was Happy Gilmore heckling guys out on the tour. And they said, you know what, buddy, smart guy, you're so good. Why don't you come out and show us how to sink a putt? They pulled out $100 bills.
They tried to put the pressure on him.
They tried to put the pressure on him.
That C note down on him.
And he came out and balled. The guy came out and dropped a 13-foot putt. Nobody does that. That was great.
And he knew it off the top.
He knew it. He went crazy as soon as he did. Yeah. Good for that guy. Good for America winning the Ryder Cup. Very surprised that Barry Bonds was fired as the hitting coach for the Miami Marlins.
They're saying that him and Don didn't really get along.
And him and Giancarlo didn't get along, they're saying.
Well, you gotta go.
They're saying the players had no bearing on his hiring, but did have a bearing on his firing. And that's a big deal.
Right. And for a guy like Barry Bonds, I think one of the major problems might be that he still wants to play, probably.
And he still knows he can play.
Yeah.
And that's just,
And
he's
they
got
colluded
that,
to get him out the league.
yeah, that sour taste in his mouth.
Yeah.
It sucks. Man, I hate to hear that. I'm glad he got reintroduced to baseball, and I hope he gets to stick around.
Right. So because they will give you that Pete Rose.
They will. Now, the final thing I wanted to cover is, how about Tyson Fury? What's wrong with Tyson Fury?
Head case.
And, they say that his uncle says that one thing that drove him, for anybody that doesn't know, Tyson Fury, who last year beat Vladimir Klitschko, or this year, was it this year? It was this year. No. Earlier this year? It was last year.
Yeah.
Beat Vladimir Klitschko and took all his belts and proceeded to sing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" in the ring. Hasn't really been able to train or do anything properly since then to get in the remix, or a rematch, which is what I'm trying to say. I'm still thinking of the metatarsal on the third and the fifth metatarsal. And if you want to have a tuning for it, then you pull out a 9-volt battery. But so what I'm trying to figure out here is what happens, and then you wake up one morning and you check on Shannon the Cannon Briggs' Instagram page, and he says, "Say it ain't so, champ. You testing positive for cocaine, champ." Tyson Fury tested positive for cocaine and I think some other drugs, and they're going to strip him of his belt. And now it looks like Anthony Joshua is going to fight for those belts with Vladimir Klitschko, and that could be a good fight because that kid Joshua is hungry.
Yeah, he's a problem.
He's super athletic, and if Klitschko comes in like he came in against Fury, he's going to go to sleep.
Yeah, he's going to get put to sleep. He's got heart, but he's been through too many wars. He's been around for a long time, and it's just hard to get up for fights once you start living good like that.
You're living good, and boxing isn't a sport. Just like hip hop, it's not something you do after you're successful. It's very difficult to do successfully after you are successful. So that's going to be interesting to see. But ladies and gentlemen, that's about all that I have for you. Do you have anything else to bring up?
That was pretty thorough.
I mean, especially our medical knowledge.
Yeah, nobody can ever front on that.
Nah, man. I mean, we hit you on all angles. Come on, we have a plethora of knowledge on our team on the OZone. Well, I'm gonna leave you here. He's gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, he's gonna get put to sleep. He's got heart, but he's been through too many wars. He's been around for a long time, and it's just hard to get up for fights once you start living good like that.
You're living good, and boxing isn't a sport. Just like hip hop, it's not something you do after you're successful. It's very difficult to do successfully after you are successful. So that's going to be interesting to see. But ladies and gentlemen, that's about all that I have for you. Do you have anything else to bring up?
That was pretty thorough.
I mean, especially our medical knowledge.
Yeah, nobody can ever front on that.
Nah, man. I mean, we hit you on all angles. Come on, we have a plethora of knowledge on our team on the OZone. Well, I'm gonna leave you here with a quote from the great Mahatma Gandhi. It is the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong.
Wow.
You put that in your pipe and smoke it. We'll talk to you after a little bit of baseball. I'm excited to go out and watch. Ladies and gentlemen in the OZone, keep your head up. We'll catch you soon.